Okay, so what we're going to do today is look at creating unique NFTs with an amount of 1. Last video, what we looked at is creating NFTs, and essentially we made one NFT and we made a lot of that individual NFT. What we're going to do today is create lots of unique NFTs with a balance of 1. Does that make sense? Now you could theoretically create maybe your first NFT and there's a balance of 5, and your second NFT there's a balance of 1, and your third NFT there's a balance of 20. That is completely feasible too. But what you want to understand is there is a difference. There is actually a difference between having a unique ID and the amount it has. You can have an individual NFT with a lot of them, or you can have a lot of NFTs with different balances. We just work with one. I think we might look at multiple later. But yeah, there is a difference, and there's a difference in code, and it's not that different, but it is a little different. So let's take a look. So let's go here. This is my gist from the last video. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take this, we're going to yoink it into here. So what we have is smash the like NFT. Let's just close this down. Smash the like NFT. And what it does, right, if you understand, is it creates one token ID, and that token ID is 0. So the number 0 is its identification number. Understand? Are you with me? And what we do here is on the constructor, when it instantiates itself on the blockchain, it creates 1, and then we also have the ability to mint more based on the amount. So we can make as many as we want in this function. We say we will take the input of how many you want and put that in here. That's the amount, the balance. But for the token ID, we want the token ID of 0. So it's lots of balance for the token ID of 0, or just one balance. Doesn't matter. But what we want is lots of individual ERC-1155s or PRC-1155s if you're a Pulse chain. If you're following along from Pulse chain, it's PRC-1155. The nomenclature in here may change. We might get some Open Zeppelin equivalents. I'm not sure. We have yet to hear any news on kind of that. I think a lot of people are working more under the hood rather than worrying about nomenclature right now. Okay, so by the way I explained it, you might already understand how to do this, but I'm going to do it in a way maybe different to you, may not be different. What we're going to do is we're going to keep track of every single token in circulation, and that's literally just a number that goes up, right? And then we're going to assign the new token to the tokens in circulation plus 1. So there's an amount of tokens in circulation. Each integer is unique, right? And so each integer is unique, and so each token can be unique, right? We don't have, well, no, this is going to get confusing if I go too philosophical about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go uint 256. We're going to say tokens in circulation here. And then what we do in the constructor is we don't mint one. You can mint one in the constructor if you would like, but for the time being, we're just going to, in this constructor, we're going to take this, tokens in circulation, and so when we submit this to the blockchain, we're going to say tokens in circulation equals 0. You with me? So there's no longer the token ID, there's just tokens in circulation. And now this is not anything to do with the IDs, right? This is tokens in circulation, which is a good metric to keep track of. So I do recommend you have this in your NFT project. I don't see a lot of NFT projects with this in their contracts, to be fair, but it's all doable. And so opening people's eyes a bit to what is possible with ERC-1155s, ERC-1155s is probably important. And so this education is pretty important for anyone just dabbling in NFTs. Anyway, so on our constructor, we set it tokens in circulation to 0. Okay. Now the magic here is a for loop. So for uint 256 equals 0. Oh, we need to name it. So I for increment. I is less than amount. So for each individual integer in amount, we're going to loop around. That's what a for is, a for loop. If you're not familiar with loops, I suggest you take a brief introductory programming course, but I'm going to try and explain things as basic as humanly possible because I think this education is important. And if you haven't picked it up, then you need to. Like, this is one of the best skills you can have in your life. I promise you. It's right up there with organization and critical thinking and things. Programming, you will go far. And so if you're watching this video, you probably will be very successful if you commit to programming a little bit every day and getting better and better. Okay, so I'm going to encourage that. So what this is a for loop. So what it goes down around each time, and every time I is less than the amount, it increases I by 1 each increment. So it goes round and round and round and round and round until it is the same amount. I is the same integer as amount. Okay, does that make sense? It might make sense soon. So the first thing we're going to do is tokens in circulation plus plus. So what plus plus means is it means increment by 1, same as this one here. You could also do this plus equals 1, or what really is happening under the hood is tokens in circulation equals itself, tokens in circulation plus 1. But because programmers are very smart people and they don't like typing all this out, we can literally just go plus plus. It's a miracle, isn't it? It's great, the world we live in. Someone's done the hard work for us. And you'll find that a lot in programming. Okay, so tokens in circulation. Where are we? We want this function here. This one. Oh, it's the same, more or less. And then we go here. We're going to individually mint out 1 for every loop. So we're going to have a single NFT, and lots of different NFTs that all have a balance of 1. We all on the same page? I've repeating myself a lot, but I want you to understand this. It's all about data structures and keeping track of your things. Okay, so what we're going to do is say what we're going to call the token ID is that, now these aren't equivalent numbers, but they also are. So keep this in mind. It can be confusing. We're going to say it's tokens in circulation. So that means, okay, the very first token, actually, we're going to take this. I need to think about this. Tokens in circulation. Let's put this here. Let's put this after. That way we mint the 0th, which may be important. It may not, but yeah, it is kind of important. So our very first NFT has the identification number of 0, right? Now, because this is a for loop and it goes round for the amount that we want, it's going to come here. This is meant to be an underscore, right? It is. So make sure that's an underscore. tokens in circulation will be equal to 0 the first time it gets to here. And when it gets to here, it says mint to my address. Now we are the owner, remember that. Mint to my address, so only the owner can call this mint function, my address. And then we're gonna say 0 is what it will be the first time round. So the first token ID will be 0. And then we increment, or we increase tokens in circulation by 1, right? Which means the next time we come round, the next NFT, you guessed it, will be 1. The next time we come around, the next NFT will be 2, and so on until n. Ad infinitum, however big you want. Ultimately, your limits are this int kind of here if you run out of the bounds of that. But more practically, it's just if you run out of gas. You will run out of gas long before you reach this, the maximum value for this integer. So anyway, we all on the same page. I guess a good way to demonstrate this, hopefully there's no bugs and I've put this the right place. I'm kind of going off the cuff, but software is all about rapid iteration, right? So the best way to see if it works is see if it works. So what we're going to do is compile. There we go, we've compiled it. Then we're going to go to here. Either one, doesn't matter. You can even go injected Web3, and we're on mainnet here. You probably don't want to test around on the mainnet, but you can also go to Rinkeby or Ropsten or Pulse Chain Test Network. I thoroughly recommend you play around with Pulse Chain Test Network. Get in while you're early, right? Best time to be in Pulse Chain is today because it hasn't released yet, and you can get your contracts, your unique ideas out on a new chain, no fees, no gas. Happy days for everyone. Well, very, very small amount of gas anyway.